Hi guys, so I'm going to read Adventure Comics number 229. So there's three stories I'm going to read. The first is a Superboy story, and then the other two are Aquaman and Green Arrow. I'm reading this comic because in the Aquaman story, it's the first appearance of Topo the Octopus, who is like sort of Aquaman, one of Aquaman's sidekicks before Aqualad. But featuring the end of the Kent family adventure comics. With those neighbors watching, Ma, I can only rescue you in this secret way.
But how are we ever going to explain how we got out of our burning house without revealing Clark Kent as Superboy?
Superboy, the adventures of Superman when he was a boy. For long, happy years, Superboy has secretly lived in Smallville with Jonathan and Martha Kent as their adopted son Clark. Now a strange set of circumstances forces them to leave their hometown, perhaps forever, while bringing about the end of the Kent family.
Gosh, we'll never see our old friend Clark Kent again.
He may be right, and Dad Kent may never again open his store here in Smallville. It's summer vacation time in the Kent household.
As soon as we pack the camping equipment from the basement, we'll be off on our trip.
I'm glad we're leaving early to beat the morning traffic. The whole town's still asleep. That man, walking his dog, is the only person about. So thrilled is young Clark Kent, that he doesn't notice the morning newspaper with its ominous headline. Smallville News, astronomers warn meteors to strike Earth. Most will burn up in atmosphere, but a few may land in inhabited areas. And suddenly, by a quirk of fate, one of those very meteors hurtles down into Smallville, at the Kent home. With split seconds to act, Clark switches to Superboy.
A meteor! It struck the electric wires! It'll blow up like a bomb!
But acting as Superboy, I'll save Mom and Dad in the basement. The invulnerable body of the Boy of Steel shields his foster parents from the frightful blast. Kaboom! Just in time, the whole house was blown to bits. Outside, as flames follow the explosion.
Good heavens! Their car was blown up too! That means they hadn't left on their trip yet. They were still in the house. Oh, how awful!
Not so awful as it seems, though for Superboy, the situation poses an ironic dilemma.
Aren't you going to fly us out, son?
I can't, Mom. That man walking his dog saw us all enter the house a moment before the blast. If he sees me bring you out without Clark Kent, he'll know the truth about my secret identity. In his eyes, the Kent family was wiped out. We'll have to remain dead for now, and escape underground without being seen, until I can solve that problem. Shortly, miles outside of town.
Then how can we ever return to Smallville?
When we've got a perfect explanation, one that doesn't involve a rescue by Superboy. Otherwise, that man would know Superboy lived in your home as Clark Kent.
Then when will we live in the meantime, son?
We'll have to find a new home far away from Smallville, where people won't know us by sight. Thus, sometime later, this town will do. Of course, we'll need new names, too. How about Joseph and Mabel King, and their son, Charles?
Land's sakes, the whole Kent family has a secret identity now.
And as the Kings search for a home in Centerville,
this one looks almost like our house in Smallville.
Luckily, we can use our vacation money to rent it. After moving in,
Done eating Charles? We must be careful to use only our new names here.
Yes, but Superboy had better show up in Smallville as usual, or folks will connect his absence with Clark Kent's death. Before Superboy can leave Centerville, however, his super aid is needed on several occasions. Gosh, just like my Smallville duties. And so there's like a Superman's pushing over like a getaway driver. He's saving a construction worker and from falling, and he's stopping a bank robber, and he's shooting off a gun. Needless to say, the citizens of Centerville are thrilled, just as Smallville was when Superboy first appeared there. Has Superboy moved into our town? What a break! Looks like I'll be dividing my time between two towns from now on. Back in Smallville, the Boy of Steel performs as usual. Good old Superboy. His super breath is dousing the last of the flames. Seeing me around, people won't tie me in with the end of Clark Kent. With a giant broom constructed at a nearby junkyard, he clears away the rubble of his former home. That was quite an explosion. Not a trace of the bodies remaining. Later, when he's joined by Lana Lang, his former next-door neighbor.
I can't believe it. Mr. and Mrs. Kent and Clark, my best friend, gone forever.
Poor Lana's heartbroken. Yet, I can't possibly reveal the truth to her.
Jeepers. To think I always suspected that you and Clark were the same person. But of course, the Kents would still be here if that were so.
Well, at least she'll stop trying to expose my identity. That's some consultation. But there's the man who can expose me, if the Kent family ever returns to Smallville, because he witnessed the destruction of our house while we were all inside. I'm betting you now that the twist is he's blind. That's the twist. He's blind. I didn't even read it, but I think because he has like a guide dog with him. But back in Centerville, the Kents can find no solution to their dilemma. Bah! No matter what alibi I try to concoct, the presence of that eyewitness makes our situation hopeless. Yes, I'm afraid we'll have to take up a regular life in this new town, since we may be here for good. Thus the following day, Pa Kent opens a new store. I had enough money left to set up this business. Hope it does as well as my general store in Smallville. Meanwhile, Charles King meets his new neighbor.
Glad to know you, Charles. I'm Millie Trent.
She's nice, not at all suspicious like Lana. That's what you think, Clark. See you later, Millie.
Superboy suddenly appeared in town yesterday, just when the Kings moved in. I'll follow him and see if there's some connection.
Soon. Time to visit Smallville. That deserted lot is a good place to switch to Superboy.
Aha! It looks like I'm right.
As a precaution, however, Clark always peers about with his X-ray vision so that... Uh-oh, Millie is hiding among those bushes. She's like Lana after all. Just my luck to have the same kind of neighbor in Centerville. I'll use this alley instead, and if Millie follows me, I'll plainly see. No, she didn't even try. I gave her the slip. But once again, as Clark takes a final look. Wait! Who's behind that fence? Why, it's Millie. How did she slip back there without my seeing her? Baffled, Clark seeks another spot. I'll try this junkyard, and this time I'll make sure she doesn't follow me. And that's when Clark gets the biggest shock of all. What? Either I'm seeing double, or there are two Millies spying on me. At last the simple truth strikes Clark. So that's the answer. Millie has a twin sister whom she didn't tell me about, and they're both keeping track of me. Golly, that's worse than I ever had it with Lana. Must get rid of them. Super breath will act like a gust of wind, filling the air with dirt and debris. The girls will run to avoid soiling their dresses. As the sisters flee.
Our plan didn't work, Millie. No, Billy, but we'll try it on Charles again later, before he finds out we're twins.
But where super hearing has picked up every word. Millie and Billy, eh? What a tricky pair. I'll have to keep an eye out for both of them hereafter. But if Superboy has troubles in Centerville, so has Dad Kent. Business is poor. Hardly a sale today. I did much better in Smallville. While Mom Kent, on her first shopping trip, suffers similar heart pangs.
I don't know a soul in town in In Smallville, everybody greeted me. I feel so lonely here.
At their evening meal, when Clark returns, I can't eat. If only I were back in my store in Smallville.
Our nice home, and our old friends, all left behind.
Poor Mom and Dad. Their hearts are breaking. If only I could offer them some hope of returning to Smallville. Each day, Superboy visits his old hometown like an exile. I could easily rebuild the house, of course. But what for? The Kents were wiped out, as that man saw with his own eyes. He's the one big stumbling block we can't get around. Wait, something odd lurks in my mind about that man. Great Scott! How could I miss it before? The Kent family can show up after all. Seconds later, back in Centerville. Superboy, what are you doing? How can I make a living here now? You won't have to, Dad. We're going back to Smallville. Within a few short minutes. Goodbye, Centerville. Smallville, here we come. We can pretend we're merely returning from our vacation trip. But our car was blown up, Superboy. Remember? Outside Smallville. That's easily rectified. There are plenty of auto parts in this junkyard for me to reconstruct an exact replica of our former car. Next stop for Superboy, a nearby abandoned town. I'll put this old lumber to good use, duplicating our former home. The original foundations are still there. Moments later in Smallville. This is the kind of good deed I would do for anybody who lost his home, so no one will be suspicious. Finally, returning to his parents. And now, let's arrive home from our vacation. We haven't a thing to worry about. I hope you know what you're doing, son. And as an astonished Lana Lang sees her neighbors arrive,
Mr. and Mrs. Kent, and Clark! Oh, thank goodness you're alive.
Hello, Lana. Superboy met us before and, explained that the other house blew up. Sorry you all thought we were killed, but you see...
Oh, I can guess the truth. You left that on your trip earlier, before the blast, and on that car wreckage we saw was probably some spare auto parts you kept in your garage.
Simple, isn't it? Psst, Clark. We can fool all others. But what about that one man who saw us here at the disaster? He can upset our whole neat story. No, he can't, Dad. Here he comes now, but he won't give us away. Notice, he isn't walking his dog. The dog is leading him. Good grief, a seeing eye dog. Then that man is blind. He didn't see us get wiped out. So our other story holds water after all. See, I knew he was blind. Right. I realized that when I remembered how he ignored a sign, "No dogs allowed," proving that he was blind. And so, as the Kent family takes its first stroll through Smallville since the explosion...
Home at last. I'm so happy I could cry.
I think that's what that's supposed to be. Please, Mom. You'll have us all crying, even Superboy. In the end. Now Aquaman. It's certainly going to be tough deciding which of the three fish should be my permanent assistant. Oh. What's happening? Okay. Every fish in the seven seas recognizes Aquaman as its monarch, going to his aid at his instant summons. But which denizen of the deep is the most valuable of all to Aquaman? That's what the Sea King himself would like to know when the time comes for him to choose Aquaman's undersea partner. Far up in the northern woods, Canadian Mounties reached the end of a desperate chase. Just as we figured, those crooks had a boat waiting for 'em here. They're heading for the open sea. Now it's a job for Aquaman. We can contact him with this walkie-talkie. A prearranged radio signal goes out, and within a few short minutes, those convicts who escaped yesterday, Aquaman. I think you can track them down, eh? I'd be sure. Yeah, I'm Canadian. Well, that's like that's more like mainland, but anyway. But I'd be sure to if I had a smart sidekick like that horse of yours. But you can, why, with your ability to talk to fish, you can have a whole ocean to choose from. I never thought of that. But which fish could possibly fill the bill? Why not make a contest of it? You could pick the one that serves you the best in the next 12 hours. Great idea. I'll start at once. Back at sea, Aquaman summons the first of his contestants. You've always been one of my most valuable helpers, Octopus. Let's see how you fare. I think I see that convict boat now, beyond that iceberg in the steamship. Sure enough, as they race to the scene. It's the convicts, all right. Now let's see how fast you can get me into that boat. Next instant. Nice pitching, Octopus. This is the end of the line for you two. But as Aquaman takes the criminal pair in tow, funny, what happened to the octopus? Great catfish! He got himself all tangled up in the propeller of that steamship, and just when I needed him the most. By the time the 8-footed fish can rejoin Aquaman, I think that's supposed to be Topo. I don't know, I think Topo's purple though. But no time to listen to excuses now. The other convicts are getting away. Take these two back to the Mounties. The octopus's clumsiness practically eliminates him from the contest. I'll have to try out another fish. Straddling a swordfish, the Sea King resumes his chase. Say, Aquaman, I'd like to talk to you. Sorry, Captain, but I'm in an awful rush after some escaped convicts. See you later. The ship's engines aren't running. Guess that's what the captain wants to speak to me about. Suddenly, as Aquaman again spots his quarry, Come on, Swordfish, let's see how good you are as an assistant. And as they draw closer, the boat manages to keep out of reach. There must be some way of slowing it down. Abruptly, the Swordfish pulls a bold stratagem. Pretty smart, punching holes in the rudder, so the boat will go out of control. With the boat floundering helplessly, Aquaman swings into action. He's coming at us on the crest of the wave. Oh, he's picking us off in ones and twos. We gotta stop him. And while the convicts desperately plan their next move, Seaweed will keep this one tied to the log. All you have to do is deliver him to the Mounties, pal. Swordfish. Now to try out my final contestant, the whale. The mighty mammal loses no time in proving its value. Here he comes again. It's now or never, men. The Sea King quickly finds himself surrounded. You'll have to fight us all at once this time, fishman. Uh-oh. They've sealed me up on all sides. Instantly, the whale responds by sending up a spout, so that these crooks forgot that I am able to swim up a stream of water, too. Moments later, as Aquaman comes plummeting down, he's got a hold of me. Hang on, we'll take care of him from behind. But before the fugitives can act, Yo, get that sea hose away before he drowns us. Glad to, as soon as you surrender. Thus ends the final round of the sea struggle. Great work, pal whale. You've certainly proved yourself a valuable assistant. And now I must make the big decision. Which of the fish shall I choose to be my permanent partner? Which of the sea denizens would Aquaman choose? Can you guess? I think I should choose that steamship whose engines weren't running. Maybe I should postpone my decision till after I see the captain. Later, after visiting the ship's captain, Well, have you decided which of the 3 fish are going to be your assistant, Aquaman? Yes, I have. Meet my new undersea partner, the octopus. Wait, I thought you'd said before that he pulled a boner. That's what I thought, until that captain told me the whole story. You see, the ship's engines had gone dead, and there was that iceberg coming straight at them. Captain, unless we can get this vessel moving, that berg will wreck us. Realizing what has happened, the octopus attached himself to the propeller and... Look, Captain, Aquaman's octopus is taking the place of the propeller and giving us the power we need. Because I was in such a hurry, I didn't give the octopus time to explain. But now I know he was the most unselfish and quick-thinking of the three contestants, which makes him my new undersea partner. And so that's the origin of Topo. And now Green Arrow. Also earlier, I'm Canadian, so I don't know. I don't know if I should be making fun of. I kind of made fun of the accent of the other Canadians. It's kind of, if you're not from a lot of my viewers from the States, so there's different accents. Well, most of Canada is the same accent, but different parts of different accents. It's kind of weird, but anyway. Deep in the Midwest, Green Arrow and Speedy match wits with a ruthless oil syndicate to save the homes of the helpless valley folk. And to battle the barons of black gold, the Emerald Archer and his young sidekick are forced to become the Wildcat Archers. The oil well is ablaze, G.A. The valley folk will lose their homes. If we can get closer, maybe, we can use our extinguisher arrows. As wealthy Oliver Queen and his young ward, Roy Harper, vacation through the West. Gosh, no, mister. Haven't been selling gas here for 2 days. I'm closing shop, leaving Sagebrush Valley with the others. The others? You mean everybody's leaving? That's right, fella. 'Cause in just 3 weeks, Gus Jordan's oil syndicate will own our valley lock, stock, and sagebrush. But Sagebrush Valley is a famous... Sagebrush Valley is a famous and proud old community. Why would you folks sell it out for oil rights? Selling it out? Sassafras. We're being pushed out. I'm Tom Cotter, and my family's been here for 49 years. Now we're leaving. But an oil syndicate can't do that. There are laws in this country. It ain't the law that's at fault, stranger. Just circumstances. Listen a spell and I'll explain. We've had a little land lease on the valley for 50 years. But last year, when state oil surveyors came poking around... You mean there might be oil under the ground we trod in Sagebrush Valley? Our tests indicate it's very possible, sir. It has the same mineral strata makeup of neighboring grounds that have produced gushers. Just a week later, real estate men from the state capital came and... What? The state won't renew our lease next year until we produce 100,000 barrels of oil? Oil is a natural resource of this state. Oh, okay, so this is someone from the state. Oil is a natural resource of this state. We can't block progress. But the governor wants to be fair, so if you folks can provide the oil quota, you're welcome to the drilling rights. 100,000 barrels aren't too much to ask. Well, stranger, we tried for a whole year to find that oil quota, but another bit broken, and we don't know if there's oil where we're drilling. It's no use. We're out of money, broke. Yep, and professional oil men won't drill for us on a commission basis, 'cause just Gus Jordan pays them more not to work here. He sure wants our valley. And that's the sad story, boys. In just 3 weeks, Jordan will own our valley, 'cause we couldn't afford to drill for 100,000 barrels of oil. I'm sorry, old-timer. We'd better get going. Roy? But once out of view, the two travelers undergo a swift change of garb. Gosh, Oliver, do you really think we can help the folks of Sagebrush Valley? We're going to try, Roy. After all, the valley's been their home all their lives. I'd hate to see them lose it. It's some time later when two colorful figures are seen restoring a broken-down derrick.
Don't call up in jackrabbits. It's those slick archers, Green Arrow and Speedy. They must be fixing to help us meet the oil deadline. But that's impossible. You can barely locate a well, much less pump 100,000 barrels in 3 weeks' time.
Maybe not, folks, but we can sure try. All right, Speedy, set up the seismometer we borrowed from the State College.
Check, GA.
When the instrument is in position, when my dynamite arrow goes off, we'll try to locate the nearest reservoir of oil by recording the shock waves. Deep into the shaft streaks the ace archer's arrow, touching off a mighty underground explosion. Pshoom! The shock waves bounce back from beneath the earth, registering on the delicate seismometer. The timing of the waves returned indicate that they passed through a sand mass, about 500 feet down to the right, Speedy.
Sand? Isn't most oil around sand beds, GA?
Yes, sand is found in sedimentary marine basins, and oil is formed from ancient marine life and decayed vegetation. Folks, let's move the derrick. Shortly, as the Wildcat archers set the giant drill turning. She's boring straight as an arrow, Speedy. Keep the shaft well greased. GA. Or it should be like, okay, GA. But at this very moment, on a nearby hillside...
I don't like it, Mr. Jordan. Those two costume characters are buzzing in the ground like they mean business.
They haven't got a chance. A secret survey I made on that spot showed there's a hard subsurface rock 200 feet down. They'll never bore through it in time to make the 100,000 barrel deadline.
And that means within a month, the Sagebrush Valley oil rights will be ours.
Indeed, 2 days later, after piercing the upper layers of shale and earth. We've hit something hard. The pit's not boring through. Hurry, pull her up, Speedy.
Clunk, 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 clunk.
The nose is dulled and bunted, and we haven't got another one. What now? Super hard subsurface rock did it. Only a diamond tip could cut through it fast enough, and that gives me an idea. Within minutes, a unique new drill goes into action.
Thunder Nation! A jet-propelled arrow attached to a diamond tip one.
With one fin ripped off the jet-propelled shaft, she's thrown off balance enough to whirl like a drilling bit when she hits. The remarkable combination arrow spins into the earth, its diamond tip biting deep. Next instant, it worked. We bored right through the rock into the oil reservoir.
A gusher!
Quickly, Speedy, let's cap her. Every free spurt of that stuff means a barrel of oil lost. They got a gusher, Drake. Oh, they got a gusher. Drake, we can't risk them making the quota. You've got to stop it now. Listen. Moments later, as the famed archers battled to cap the well. Great gosh! Look, GA! A flaming barrel, and fire can wipe out a gushing well. As the free-flowing oil ignites. Speedy, the firefighting arrows. We've got to work fast. Cotter, we'll need a cover of water to protect us.
We're a-comin', Green Arrow.
Keep 'em drenched with water, boys. With these asbestos blinds and that water, we've got a chance of moving in close enough to smother the flame with our firefighting chemicals. Let's go. And while the gallant bowmen wade into the blaze,
Jordan and his boys were responsible for that flaming barrel. We caught 'em running off. Good. Turn 'em over to the sheriff in town. I'll stand by in case Green Arrow and Speedy need help.
Finally, a sigh of relief comes from the crowd as... We made it, all right, men. There's no time to waste. Ready the pumping equipment and start filling your oil barrels.
Sure thing, Green Arrow. But it's going to be mighty tough filling 100,000 barrels
in the 19 days left. Day and night, the race to save Sagebrush Valley goes on. 2001, 2002, 2003, 6008, 6009, 7000. 10, 12, 14 days pass, and two men watch with hatred in their hearts. I'm sure glad your lawyer got us out on bail, boss. Do you think they'll make the quota? Maybe, maybe not. It all depends on how smoothly things go. Things do run smoothly, until the very last day when... The pump's jammed. It'll take at least an hour to fix. Have we reached the quota? No, there are 2.5 barrels to go, with only 6 minutes left until the deadline. Ha ha ha. Maybe I've lost this contract, Green Arrow, but so have you. Oh no, what will it do? We were so close. Cutter, quickly, tell your friends in those automobiles to line up and cross that wooden bridge. We have one chance. Seconds later, a strange scene ensues. Keep shooting, keep shooting. The oil from the car's crankcases is doing the trick. Only half a barrel to go. Can't miss a single shot. Gotta knock off every crankcase spigot with the first arrow. Finally, done, with 1 minute to spare. You've got an oil well, Mr. Cotter, and the valley is yours. By thunder! That well's got her name already, friend. It'll be called the Green Arrow Well #1. And the end. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.